Some bonds don't shatter you with noise. They fracture you softly, in corners no one ever notices. Sometimes the sharpest pain isn't rejection. It's being felt deeply, and then suddenly kept at a distance. There are people who don't leave because they don't care. They leave because caring feels unsafe. And if you've ever been avoided by someone who once felt close to you, this message will touch wounds you never gave words to. There are connections in this world that don't announce themselves. They don't arrive with vows, confessions, or dramatic beginnings. They slip in quietly, almost dangerously. And before either heart understands what's happening, something permanent has already started. This was one of those connections. The kind people don't escape because it's weak, but because it's too powerful to contain. For a long time, this person convinced themselves that pulling away from you was the only way to survive what they felt. It didn't align with their timing. It didn't respect their plans. It didn't care about their responsibilities. And instead of fading, it intensified the more they fought it. They noticed how different they felt around you, how their defenses lowered without effort, how your words replayed in their mind long after conversations ended, how silence with you felt louder than laughter with anyone else. That frightened them. So they chose distance, not because they were indifferent, but because they were overwhelmed. The connection felt forbidden to them, not always in a scandalous way. Sometimes forbidden simply means the timing was wrong while the feeling was right. One or both of you were emotionally unavailable. Life complicated it. Loving you required a kind of courage they didn't have yet. You didn't chase. You didn't demand. You didn't manipulate. You simply existed. And that alone disrupted everything. They realized that if this continued, something in their life would have to change, and they weren't ready to choose. So they ran. Avoidance became their armor. They believed distance would weaken the pull, restore control, make you fade. But instead, you grew louder inside them. You showed up in songs they didn't expect to feel so deeply, in quiet moments that should have felt peaceful, but didn't, in relationships that suddenly felt empty, in achievements that felt strangely hollow. Avoidance stopped working. And that's when the realization began. Not suddenly, not dramatically, but slowly, painfully. Why does nothing feel the same? Why do I still think about them? Why does it feel like I walked away from something real? And then it hit them. You weren't a distraction. You weren't a temptation. You weren't a mistake. You were a mirror. You reflected a version of them that felt alive, honest, emotionally awake. Walking away from you meant walking away from themselves. Now they see it clearly. Why your presence felt different. Why conversations with you lingered. Why no one else has touched them the same way since. They finally understand. The connection wasn't intense because it was forbidden. It was forbidden because it was intense, because it threatened to awaken a life they weren't brave enough to live yet. Right now, they carry emotions they don't know how to release. Not dramatic longing, but quiet regret. Not obsession, but constant awareness. Guilt for disappearing without explanation. Curiosity about who you've become. Fear that they missed their chance. Hope that maybe, just maybe, they haven't lost you completely. And above all, they feel respect. Your strength stays with them. How you didn't beg. How you didn't chase. How you gave space without bitterness. That maturity changed them. This awakening is happening now because distractions failed. Something in their life slowed down, collapsed, or disappointed them. Stillness forced truth to surface. And in that silence, your energy returned. They finally admitted it. I didn't avoid them because the connection was wrong. I avoided them because it was real. And once that truth is seen, it can never be unseen. Now listen carefully. This is the final message, especially for you. Please don't miss this part. Here's the truth you need to hear. You didn't lose this connection. You outgrew the version of them that was afraid. Whether they return or remain silent, they are no longer the same person because of you. You were a turning point in their life, a lesson they didn't realize they were learning. This is your quiet power. If they come back, it will be with humility, not avoidance. If they don't, it's because the awakening is still unfolding. Either way, you were never invisible. Some connections aren't meant to be rushed. Some awakenings come late, but they come deep. If this felt personal, If someone came to your mind while listening, tell me in the comments, I felt this. Thank you for staying with me until the end. Please like, share, and subscribe for more mindset-shifting videos. This channel grows with your support and your love. Thank you so much.